I'm joined today by Paddy Fitzpatrick for our weekly chat about boxing and loads of other bits and bobs. Today we're going to stay on the boxing subject and we're going to talk about female boxing. Let's start in Swindon and let's start with Swindon's newest female boxer, Kelly Morgan. Your thoughts on her and what she's done so far in her first 3 professional fights?
Well, in 3 pro fights she's done excellent, and she won all 3. I think her last fight, didn't she beat a world ranker in her last fight, world number 2. And now the WBC have contacted her about fighting for the WBC silver. So if she fights and wins for that next, then she'll fight for the WBC world title. So if you're able to do that in your first 5 fights, it's a hell of an achievement, isn't it?
Sure. And she's desperate to, change everyone's perception of not just female boxing, but female sport. And she's on the right track, isn't she? And it's important that someone is spearheading a kind of a campaign like that.
All the women are desperate for people to have a different opinion of female boxing. Lucia was the same, Lally was the same, Kelsey Jeffries was the same. They don't want to be treated any different. They don't want to be known as female fighters. They want to be known as fighters. So I think that'll be a non-going battle though, because number one, even if you're a high-profile female fighter, such as Lucia was, such as Lally was, you have to have somebody high-profile to fight against. One person being high-profile isn't enough to change the perception of the sport. You need to have high-profile fights, and that will change it. Number 2, fighting 10-2s for a world title. I don't agree with it. I don't think, and most of the females don't agree with it. Lally didn't like it either. She thought a world title should be over 12-3s, the same as men. They're facing other females. Why is it over 10-2s? It should be over 12-3s. But I think the biggest thing they're going to come up against, as long as I've been involved in female fighting, is not having enough other females out there to have high-profile fights. So having one high-profile fighter isn't enough. But in saying that, it's going to take people like Kelsey, like Lally, like Lucia, who want to change the face of it, who want to come along and do their thing, and eventually, who knows, they will. It's going to be a long journey, but she's doing her part.
Female sport is changing and it is becoming more popular, whether it's football, whether it's netball. It's getting more coverage on television, people like Sky Sports. And from a boxing point of view, and let's take this gym for an example, over the years, have you noticed more females actually coming in, even if it is just to train, whether it's not to have a fight? Have you noticed more females coming in to take up boxing?
I've noticed more females coming through here to take up boxing. I think that the Olympics in 2012 was a bit of a game changer back here. The fact that females were allowed in the Olympics for the first time. The fact that England had such good success with them. Katie Taylor back in Ireland is phenomenal. She's an excellent fighter. Forget a female fighter, she's an excellent fighter. And that does change the perception. It doesn't matter how good a product you have if nobody knows about it. So the fact that they're allowed into the Olympics, female fighting as a product, is now more world recognised. So then more girls see it on TV and think, oh good, I'd like to do that. I wasn't weird for thinking I'd like to box. It is okay, it is natural. And more females are getting involved in it. And you can't knock it. We all have our opinion of it. I wasn't really up for female fighting years ago. But then when I saw Lucia first, and she'd spar with men, and it wasn't, okay, take it easy on her, she's a female. She was sparring with men, full sparring, and it was at the highest level in Freddie's gym in Wildcard. And she could hang with any of them. So you have to change your opinion, because there's a female there that could whoop men. So you had to bow down and change your opinion of it. And then the other females that I've worked with, like Lally and Kelsey, does change your opinion. You think, right, these women can fight, period. They can't just fight because they fight good against other women. They can fight. So your perception changes, and I think other people's perception is changing too. And, it's never going to be to everyone's taste, but hell, nothing is to everyone's taste. Everyone will have an opinion and a negative opinion on certain subjects, so each their own.
What sort of battles did you encounter back then with your female fighters? Was it hard work to promote the fights, etc., etc.?
No, I didn't come across any of them because they weren't my battles to have. I was Freddie's assistant, so Lucia was his fighter. So I was coaching her with Freddie. I didn't come across none of the battles of that. I didn't come across none of the battles to do with promoting her. Bob Arum was promoting her. But Bob Arum was building her while Don already had Christy Martin kind of being built up and doing well already underneath Mike Tyson's undercards. So it was always to get the two of them to fight each other. But it was just a battle that happened too late. One of those things, it missed the boat. But there was a struggle to get it recognised. You know, Christy Martin was getting recognised because Tyson was the biggest thing in boxing then. So when he would talk about her and say, you got to watch this girl, people thought, Mike's saying that, let's do it. So they'd watch her. Anyone in boxing knew about Lucia. So even if she wasn't a household name, people knew and had full respect for Lucia because they knew what she was capable of, they knew what she was doing. When I first arrived in America, she was sparring with Shane Mosley while Shane was getting ready for Philip Holiday. You know, and Shane was living in Pomona there, California. They weren't driving an hour up to Freddie's gym to spar Lucia because it was a waste of time. They were driving an hour to spar Lucia because it was good sparring. And I have seen that girl, like I said, she's capable of doing anything any other dude is doing, and against dudes. But it is always going to be a struggle. It is. It's a niche market. That might change. Perceptions do change, don't they? But they take time to change. And not just a couple of months, not just a couple of years, they take time.
Obviously, Keith Mayo's a local promoter who is managing and promoting Kelly and putting her on this platform. Can you ever see a day when the Eddie Hearns, the Frank Warrens, you know, really go hard and promote women's, you know, boxing?
That's not for me to answer. That's for them men to answer. They're businessmen. So if there was a business for it, they probably would. But as a business model, there isn't really a call for it because, like I said, there's not high-profile fights. So what do? Do you sign, for example, Katie Taylor got offered lots of offers from America and that to turn pro. She stayed amateur. I think she did the right thing, and that's just my opinion. But if she turned pro, there would be a lot made about her for one or two fights. But then how does she carry a whole career and earn good money and become as high profile as a pro as she is as an amateur if there isn't the opposition that gets people's attention consistently? She'd have got attention in her first couple of fights because it would have been the world's best amateur turning pro and it would have been a big deal. But after that, what happens? Do you understand me? After that, Lally earned good money as a pro, but Lally wasn't shy about saying she knows it was her second name got her attention. Not everyone is called Ali. Do you understand me? So you have got to, she had a commercial name that sold her in good stock as well. You've got to have something else behind you. I don't see those men getting involved in it because it's hard enough money to make business anyway. So why are you going to get involved in a business model that's got holes in it?
So finally, what would your advice be to Kelly with what she's doing and how to handle her career and continue to promote female sport?
Listen, she don't need no advice off me. Like Duke said, she has something about her. Duke said that to me there a month or so ago. He said she has something about her. She has a little aura about her. He said, I'm going to be paying attention to her. Just the way she sells herself on that. She's doing good. She's happy with what she's doing. She's performing. If she wins the next belt, then she gets a chance at a world title. And she will change. Everything has got to be done in small steps. She will change people's perception in general. WBC is a real world title. So whether you like women's boxing or not, in women's boxing, the WBC is a real world title. The WBC belt in boxing is the most recognised one. If she comes home here with a WBC belt, I don't care if she's female or not, she is the first world champion that would have come out of Swindon. That will get her recognition. She does have a little bit of a following about her. She becomes a world champion, she will have a bigger local following about her. And so long as she can keep getting people's attention and she's in good fights, well, then she'll do her own little bit in her own area to change the perception of it. Outside of that, that's a longer road and a different story.
Well, it's fascinating to get your thoughts on that, and thank you once again for joining us, and we look forward to next week. Cheers, Paddy.
God bless.
Thank you.
You got it.